Okay, so as we have a Kevin Durant potential trade or non-trade just kind of looming over everything, let's talk about the 76ers, who, to me, have probably like their best chance they're ever going to have at winning a title with Joel Embiid in the next 2 seasons, I would say. With all that said, I would not pick them to win the East right now. The obvious thing is Harden, of course. I'm not breaking news when I say that. We'll also get into like salary stuff and future projections for him and all that, but with Harden, look, man, I get it. The burst off the dribble and all that just isn't what it was even like 3 years ago. And the thing to look at is that hamstring injury he had in the playoffs. But the Harden Embiid pick and roll was still insanely effective. Yeah, well, there were those questions of, well, Embiid prefers to kind of float around to mid range a little bit more than dive super hard to the rim like a Clint Capella type every single time. And is that going to be awkward? Well, so far, no, is the way to put that. And when you look at like Tyrese Maxey's ability to attack off the dribble when he catches it and not just shoot a three, and Tobias can do a little bit of that as well, although he doesn't have the burst that Maxey does, on top of like Harden Maxey two-man game stuff that was freaking out the Raptors in the playoffs. Like, there's a lot there. And of course, Harden's passing ability is still there. And I feel like when you look at the fact that Maxey's probably going to keep getting better, but he's still on his rookie contract, as well as like, what is the window for how good Harden is still going to be here? That's another reason why I feel like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next couple of seasons to me. And to go along with that, Maxey, when he does get an extension from Philly, that's going to be 2 years from now. And Harden is either going to be on a new contract or off the team. If he's on a new contract, then, you're pretty much locked into what you got, even if Tobias Harris's money will be off the books. But you might want to keep Tobias because you still need the guy, even if he's overpaid by a bit. I went on a tangent there, but to get back to Harden, in a couple of years, once this little 2-year deal is done, which I believe there's a player option in the second year anyway, he's either going to be making so much money for them that they're not going to have the ability to really make any other moves as he's playing into his mid to late 30s, or they're going to be like, we really don't want to pay you right now, which I don't foresee happening, but if it did, what would be their options to get a guy even at Harden's level at this point? Like, it wouldn't be a lot out there. Like, a lot of their picks are locked up in protections and all that over the next few years. They've got a couple who are going to free up, but it just becomes a matter of, like, this is probably the best chance they're going to get as I keep coming back to it. Anyway, to talk about their offseason a bit, the PJ Tucker signing, Tucker's main thing at this point is throw him on the opposing team's best wing player. So if you're facing the Celtics, it's Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. If it's, we've already seen him defend Kevin Durant. We'll see what conference Kevin Durant is playing in. At this point, it seems like Kyrie and KD are just going to be back on the Nets. But who knows with those odds? If you're facing Miami, you're throwing him at Jimmy Butler and all that. The main thing with PJ Tucker really is the fear of the wheels falling off. But if he can give you 20 tough minutes in the playoffs, or maybe he's still got more in him at this age, of being physical defensively and just making enough corner threes, then okay. And hey, for what it's worth, Miami had him doing more as a screen setter, and he was doing a little bit more off the dribble. Does Doc Rivers have that in him the way that Spoelstra did when he looks at PJ Tucker? I don't know, to be honest with you. As far as the DeAnthony Melton move, well, real quick, good luck to Danny Green, and I would hope that he still has a chance to play in the NBA, but with his age and the torn ACL, we'll see. But with DeAnthony Melton, gives him more juice off the dribble, good defensive guard, good from three. And to go back to that juice off the dribble thing, I think they just needed a little bit more of that. If you have, and let's just say Thibault, he's kind of like an elephant in the room of Sixers something at this point. We understand his value defensively, but when you've just got a guy like him where defenses are going to ignore, and it's like, can you make them pay at all when they're playing off of you for the sake of guarding Harden and Embiid and all that? With Melton, it's different. Like, he's going to take the three, or he can take it off the dribble on those things. Same thing as Maxey, same thing as Tobias. PJ Tucker will at least shoot it, and he has been good on corner threes. He shot extremely well from three last season for Miami. And also Daniel House, who I think had a bit of a resurgence in Utah. Just an okay enough 3-and-D guy. Another dude who's going to take that shot as opposed to Thibault. And I guess we can just have a little spiel about Thibault real quick. We get it, right? He's awesome on one side of the floor, and on the other side, it's like, okay, 5 points a game. So, are they going to move him? I don't know. There was that rumor of them looking to move him for Eric Gordon. At this point, I don't know if the assets are there to put around Thibault to get another shooter here. And the first name I thought of was Malik Beasley for the Jazz, because I'm assuming the Jazz would be willing to move the guy. Unless one of their future picks, which again, they're almost all of them are locked up in protections right now, if one of those are movable, then that would be the way to do it. Anyway, to just talk about the Eastern Conference before we get out of here. No, I would not consider Philly the best team in the East if I was to do a power ranking, but you've got a chance against anybody with Joel Embiid. And I'm sure the Sixers would love to see Miami again in the playoffs, but this time without Embiid having a face injury. And I mean, he had to have 2 different finger surgeries in the offseason as well. And with that said, it still comes back to Harden. I mean, how would he look versus, let's say Philly meets the Celtics? He's got all those switchy wing defenders of Boston. He's got Marcus Smart guarding him or whoever it would be. Can he just beat him off the dribble consistently? Same thing if they're facing the Bucks. He's guarded by Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton. But hey, again, the Harden Embiid pick and roll was super duper effective, so maybe that's the main thing. Anyway, that'll do it.